do feel a sense of father with you. I got father and mother. This is dad's side, this is mum's side. So if I look on the left, I'm looking at dad's. If I'm looking on the right, I'm looking at mum's. But I do feel as I'm looking, I connect with father, with you in the spirit world, who comes forward and brings me that sense of love. And I see with mother, your sister also, there's a lady who comes forward with your mother. So this must be your sister, is that correct? You have a sister who's passed. So there must be somebody who comes very, very close. There's another lady who comes very, very close. Sister or sister-in-law. Is it? You understand? There's a lady. I see sister. So she's not your sister. She must be your sister-in-law. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I don't always see the in-law. I just see sister. So it's the feeling. Even though it's the in-law, there's a sense of love. She could have been like a sister. It's not very, very dear to you. But I want to call her sister because I know she was like a sister to you. And I know she comes in with mother on that side. And I see the bright light of her just wanting to shine forward to you in that way. And there's also they talk about the James, obviously your grandson, and they talk about a son. You have a son as well. You understand? They talk about your boy, your son, and then there's another son. There's a son and a daughter as well. This should be another.
I've got a son and daughter.
That's what they're saying. There's a son and a daughter. It's you I'm talking about because you're the only person sat here. So there's a son and the daughter, and James with your son as well. You understand? They talk about James with your son. James is your son's son, but you have a daughter who's married as well. You also have the son-in-law to the daughter. Is that correct? And would James be your your son-in-law's son? Your daughter's son? Because that's what they're trying to tell me. James, your grandson, comes from your daughter, but the daughter with her husband is like a son as well. You have a close, that makes sense, a very close relationship with your son-in-law. That's the feeling they're giving me, and they're just trying to send him love from the spirit world. There's a connection with his father as well in the spirit world. Do you know if he's passed over? Your son-in-law's father has passed over in the spirit world because they're saying it feels quite recent as well. There's been some who was quite sick before he passed, but I do know that this connection they're just bringing your daughter's husband's father, and they just talk about him. Whether his name was James as well, there could well be, because I feel it's a family name. I understand on that side, but I do know that they extend their love to this grandson James, and I do feel he's a strong boy, isn't he? This grandson, so he's very, very strong, and there's opportunities for him as well. They're talking about. I see a very good education, very good education. So they come from a good family, and I see university with James. Does that make sense to you? He's at university. That's correct, isn't he? He's at university because they talk about James at university. So they just see this. I also have a connection to Caloundra. There's somebody with the connection with the family in Caloundra as well that they talk about. They know somebody with the Caloundra, and also I have a connection to Indooroopilly. You understand Indooroopilly because the person that lives at Indooroopilly lives at number 19. That's you. You live at number 19 in Indooroopilly, and the street name begins with U. That's correct, isn't it? Because I can see 19U, Indooroopilly, and there's this Jurang Street nearby. There's something called Jurang. You come out of your road and turn right, and then you're in Jurang. Does that make sense? Because they're showing me this. And this sister-in-law who comes very close, she must have visited you. You understand at this address, because I know she comes in very, very close. She brings her energies, and she would have. I see a beautiful house. It's like on top of a hill, or it goes down. There's like a road where the driveway goes down. There's lots of trees, a metal roof that I see. It's a wooden house, or the wooden style Queenslander houses. That's what I'm looking at. Could be white. I feel I'm seeing a white house, but I see there's memories here of just get-togethers and happy, pleasant times. Lots and lots of, there's china teacups here, and bringing the china out. So it's almost, there's a sense of somebody had the china teacups. Which your mother used to like the china. She liked drinking the tea, but she shows me the old china teacups. Does that make sense? The old with the gold around. You've got your mother's old china teacups. This is what she's telling me. So mother comes in, also in the same vibration. and she's standing behind you, your mother. I just feel very, very proud when she mentions the old china teacups. Now there's a March birthday, March, the month of March, or April as well. So I don't know about the Easter time, but I feel it's a March. Could be a birthday, it could be a passing into the spiritual world. There's some connection to something that seems to come very strong around March.
Well, my sister-in-law's birthday is
There you go. So she's the one who's giving me her birthday, because she's coming in with your mum. They come out and go from one to the other.
And my mother's birthday
Is in March. Well, there you go. So they're giving me both of the birthdays, because they just wanted to prove to you that it was them. I mean, there's only a 1 in a 12 chance, but for them both to give you the same month, it's proof really that you know it is them talking. And this is something called Neil, is the Neil or Neville, is it? There's Neil or Neville, isn't it? So the sister-in-law that she sends her love to somebody called Neil or Neville. This is her husband, is it? There's somebody she sends her love, because I do know. And there's a sickness with her as well at the end. This talks about the cancer. You understand? She had cancer. This is what she tells me. And there's a breast as well. Did she have the breast cancer of the breast? Long before, but I know she had some connection to a breast cancer. That she fought, and this is something I know she got over this, but she's still a memory, understand, at this part in her life. She also brings connections to somebody called Michael, possibly a son. You understand, somebody called Michael. Did she have a son called Michael, or there's somebody who does have a son called Michael? Called Michael, that's what it is. So these are your grandsons, James and Michael. That's correct, isn't it? So I do know. She's just sending her love to these grandsons going around the family. Because I know Michael links in very strong to this daughter, and obviously this is your mother's great grandson Michael. So I know she's also, and your mother's great grandson James. So I know she's giving this sense of love that she's trying to bring with your sister-in-law. Now there's an S with the M. There's nobody called Mary. It's the Maria. Or it could be, there's an M-A-R. It could be Margaret as well. There's Margaret or Marjorie. There's something with an M-A-R name. Something talking about the initial M for a lady's name. You're Merle. That's correct, isn't it? But I didn't know if there's somebody else called Mary as I go back in the family. Your grandmother was Mary, because I know this. Your father's mother, that's what I just heard them say. Your father's mother is Mary. That's correct, because I did hear father's mother. Your dad's here, as I said, but it's your mum who seems to be commanding my attention a little bit at the moment. And I do know that she just mentions that Mary, your grandmother, your father's mother, is up in the spirit world. And there's a younger female down here by the name of Olivia. Or Olivia, you understand, as a younger girl. I feel she's 32 or 33, or somewhere in the early 30s. Does that make sense with you? Because they also talk about there's a granddaughter, somebody who comes around.
No, well, she's
the spirit.
my brother-in-law's daughter.
Your brother-in-law's daughter. They also mention her from the spirit world, so I do know that they're and there's connections to Denmark as well, over to Europe. You understand, with somebody in one side of the family. There's connections over to a colder country that they tell me. So they're all coming in, and your sister-in-law. I just do feel problems with the health at the end. She shows me being cared for. Was there a stroke or a heart condition? There's some and memory things with her. She had Alzheimer's, because I see there's a shadow around her head. So I see, the stroke or the Alzheimer's, it's a shadow. So I know she was battling with something with her memory. And really was a blessing, I'd say, when she went into the spirit world. It was a real blessing that she got her sense of dignity back going into the spirit world. But the energy is she wants to say thank you to you, because whatever it was, you gave her some support. Even though she was very difficult, you understand, at the end. She wants to say she has her memory back 110%. Because she was a very smart lady, a very cultural lady, very smart, loved reading books. And she shows me a lamp with tassels on it. like a reading lamp, somewhere where she used to sit, or somebody sits under the tub. You sit, don't you, under the tasselled lamp? Is there a tasselled? There's a lamp, or it might be around Neville. There's a tasselled lamp. Somebody shows me, and they're sitting reading books under the tasselled lamp. There's lots of books around, and I love music as well. I can hear the piano going. So, did she ever play the piano? Somebody in the family was playing the piano? Is somebody playing the piano?
My sister.
Your sister played the piano, yeah. But she's still here,
Yes.
your sister. She's still alive.
Yes.
Because I know your mother shows me the sister who's playing the piano. And I know she's perhaps not played it for a while, but I know she was very good. And these are memories that your mother had. She enjoyed the piano music. I see the old music, the old records as well. There's some of the old vinyl or playing the old records, so there's memories here. Very dear memories, because they're showing it me clairvoyantly. So I do know it has some special connection to the heart, playing these old records. I do know that they just want to mention this. And to let you know that they're very, very close. Now there's a whisper of somebody called Catherine. Catherine, I understand, in the spirit world.
No,
She's here, is she? Catherine. Is a sister, is he down, or somebody mention of Kathy, a younger person. You understand, down here. Now she's younger, isn't she?
Yes.
Catherine. I mean, I'm only 53. I know you're a little bit older than me, but I feel she might be younger than me.
No.
She's a little bit older, is she? Yeah. 60 something in her 60s, yeah, that's fine. But I felt somewhere between our ages, I wasn't quite sure, but they just, this Kathy or Catherine, they're giving healing to her at the moment as well. She lost her husband as well. There's been somebody around her who's been sick. Not Catherine, but there's somebody else has lost their husband, or somebody's passed. Maybe not be Catherine, but your mother says somebody's husband. They also talk about somebody being quite sick. And has Catherine also got a brother as well? She doesn't have a brother, so it wouldn't be her husband. She doesn't have a husband. You've also been talking to Catherine just recently. Just recently, your mother tells me. Just the other day. Just the other day, your mother says you were talking to Catherine. There's been a lot happening around Catherine. And there'd be a son with Catherine. She has a son, because I know she was talking about her son in the conversation. Does that make sense? There's stuff coming up. Well, she's been worried, and she has a daughter as well, doesn't she? She's been worried about one of her children. Could be her daughter, and it could even be a grandson as well that she talks about. I feel this will be her daughter. Does that make sense? She's been talking about, and her daughter's husband, who would be her son-in-law.
No, she doesn't have any.
They're not married, but is she with a man? She's living with a man. She's not at the moment, but she was before. Does that make sense? She was married before her daughter. That's what they're telling me, but there's been something, I don't know, something around this situation. She seems to remember, but this is the right Catherine, because I know I'm describing her family, so I know that they just mentioned this. And there's also somebody called Robert as well. They keep mentioning from the spirit. Is anybody called Robert, or is it Roy? Could be Roy or Ray. There's somebody with an R name. They keep
My husband's father
was Roy. That's who it is, yeah, because I do know they're trying to mention your husband, and that he's your husband's father. This is your father-in-law, isn't it, Roy? Obviously, he would be the great, the grandfather of your children, and great-grandfather, yeah. Your husband's father was Roy, yeah, so it's your father-in-law, so he would be the grandfather of your children. That's right, yes, absolutely, yeah, because I do know he's there. That's why he's given me his name. He's been gone a while, a long time, over 30 years, he tells me, 40 years, been a long, long time, but I do know he's also there, and he's also bringing in that sense of, there's a foreign name, it sounds like, is it Ulrich? This must be a street, is it? Ulrich. Does that make it Ulrich? Because it's a I thought it was a German name, but you don't have any Germans in your family. In Ulrich, because I know they give me the name of your street, Ulrich. And the husband in spirit as well. You understand? Because it's your husband here who's trying to make an appearance, because he's giving me his street address. That makes sense? And where he lived. It's your husband here. And Roy is his father. That's correct, because I do know he's trying to bring that energy to you, and just to let me know he's there, and obviously talking about his children and the James and the people and the Michael, the people I've been talking about. I know he's trying to bring this sense of love to you.
His grandchildren.
His grandchildren, grandchildren. They're still close to his heart.
And they're his grandchildren.
Yeah, that's correct. It doesn't matter. I just get a feeling. I don't always hear. If I heard everything, you'd have to call me Jesus, wouldn't you? Which I'm not. But I know he's sending his love to these. And there's a sense as well of just a sense of pride with your husband. He was a strong man. He had a strong will as well. And there's heart. This is some connection with the breath at the end with your husband. Being a bit short of the breath, or in the heart. And I feel like he died quickly, your husband. He passed quickly. I know there's a sickness at the end with your husband, but I know it came into the lungs. I understand there was something in the lungs around him, but it felt very quick at the end. And I do know there was walking difficulties, understand, with the husband. Was there some walking difficulties at the end? Or right at the end, but I feel the passing. No, at the end it was very, very quick. The passing at the end. He's just taking me to the end of his life. But I do know there's cancer. You understand, because he tells me I had cancer. That's correct, isn't it? I know the cancer with the breathing at the in the lungs. Understand, but the cancer went through his body. I do feel it was very something he battled this for quite a while. And the sense of, I felt he was out of the woods a little bit at the end, but whatever it was at the end, it was all very, very quick. And it's not as if he wants to remember his cancer, because he's in another world now. And he's happy in the spirit world, and they don't want to dwell on how they died, because that was just the vehicle that got the spirit body back to where it was meant to be. But I do know he just wants to say thank you for the care. And that's why he's showing me the address where you live, because there are lots of memories there. There's a white car that he shows me as well. You understand the memories of the white car, because somebody drove a white car. Does that make sense to you, the white car? There's memories of the white car. He's also showing me clairvoyantly, I see the memories of the white car that he shows me. But he was quite, your husband, he'd keep his feelings inside. Perhaps with strangers or people, or there's a quieter side to him. But I feel once he got the trust of somebody, he would open up. He's not saying a lot, but I just feel maybe he had a quieter side as well. Maybe he's some people, they communicate well through the minds of other people. But I know he's happy in the spirit world. He wants to say thank you to you. Understand, there's something. He just wants to say thank you. Do you have your differences as well? You're different people. I feel like there's differences here that you'd have. And he wants to, you'd keep yourself busy, and he'd do his own thing, where he'd keep himself busy as well. But a very, very, I just feel a bright man. Like I said before, he was educated, he was bright, he had a good mind to him. Does that make sense to your husband? He had a good mind, his character. But I do feel I see books around him as well. So there's a connection of reading books or doing things. Or maybe this is around you. There's reading or learning about the spirit world. And there's somebody who had a Bible, he showed me as well. Somebody had a Bible that they leave behind. Do you still have the Bible? Is it from your mother or father? They show me the Bible. So there's some connections to a faith that he lets me know. And there's dancing as well. I want to dance. So there's somebody who did the ballroom. Did he ever like dancing? He just wants to dance. There's some connections or memories or something with you love to dance. That's fine. He didn't, but he just shows me the dancing. He can show me things about you or about him or both of you, but he knows that you love the dancing. Because I see the dancing as well. And you go to the library as well, because you see these are where the books are. He's following you to the library, and he sees you at the library doing things at the library. But you like to go to the library. That's what he tells me. You look forward to going to the library. That's correct, isn't it? Because I
Yes.
see you going to the library and doing things at the library. But sometimes there's opportunities for you to learn things around the library, or there might be clubs or people that you meet. Understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
he's trying to influence my mind very subtly with this feeling that he sees. But he sees that it's all about whatever it is he wants you to. You've got a lot of living down here. You've got a lot of living to do. You'll live to be an old age.
Oh God.
Yeah, I had to bring you some bad news today. It can't be all love and light and roses, as I say. But I do know he gives me that sense. He just wants to let you know you'll live to be good. But he just wants to say thank you for whatever support you gave him. So I know with the cancer it was difficult, wasn't it? It was very, very difficult. And being at home as well. You understand? Because I was at home.
Yes.
I was at home. That's what you looked after me at home. Does that make sense to you? You looked after me at home, and you couldn't have done more than what you did. Probably terrified of hospitals and doctors and dying. There's a side to him. Understand that was. I'm not sure about this dying business or the afterlife, but I know he's in the spirit world and he's with Roy. That's why he's given me his father, because he wants to let you know who he's with. You understand, and that he's not alone. But just and obviously very proud of his family looking over. But he wants to say thank you for everything that you did for him, because it was a big sacrifice that you made. But I know you did it out of love. And he was a handyman. He was very good. He's good with his hands, because he shows me all his tools. And I see, where building with your husband, because he was a builder, because I could see all these tools, and he could build with carpentry as well, could do things with wood. He was very, very good with wood. I can see going into the shed where there's a vice, a wooden bench, and there's memories of the old jars with screws in, and nails. There's all these energies, and the lawnmower. I wanted everything pristine. And I see the frangipani tree as well. Is there a frangipani or some tree nearby? There's something. What's it called? The purple one. There's nice smelling trees, gardenia or whatever they're called. I just feel there's nice smelling trees. But I like to do the garden as well with your husband. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
I feel I was very, very keen with the garden.
Yes.
I like the flowers. I like to know the names of the trees. I just like to be in nature.
Yes.
And that is beautiful. And there's Mount Cootha as well. Is there the cemetery? There's nobody buried up on the cemetery at Mount Cootha, is there? You've not been up there, going up to Mount Cootha, but you used to take trips. People you knew up near the cemetery. Understand? There's people. I feel that he'd take me up there, because I do know there's visits. And he talks about he's been with you to the doctor. You've been to the doctor just recently. Is it not the last week or couple of weeks? You've had to have some medical, something to do with some medical. Somebody's been to the doctor.
Not recently.
Maybe I could be going back. I don't know. This could be after he passed. And 2009 as well. 2008 or 2009. His husband's still here then, was he?
No.
He'd gone by then.
Yes.
Because I feel around about this period, 2007, 2008, 2009, these years, he was very close to you. You had some difficulties. Was there some difficulties around these years? There was something, I just felt he was very, very close around these years to you. 2000, 2008, 2009. And there could be trips as well. There could be movement around these years. You could have been travelling around these years. But I just do feel 2008, 2009. There's not been worries with your health, was there, around these years? A bit later, was it? Or
Not major,
but just structural problems, because I do feel 2008, 2009. He just felt close. I mean, I know he's been gone a little while as well. He's not, because I know it's not recent, his passing. He's been gone a little bit of time, because that's why he wasn't talking too clearly, because anybody who's been gone over 10 years, you understand, they don't talk as clear, because they're more in their world and less in our world, which is in the spirit world. And I go back to the late 1990s. You understand? There's some connection to the late 1990s when he passed, or some connection of being sick. Does that make sense? 97, 98, 90. Does that make sense? 98, 99. He brings my mind back 99, and this is when he knocked on the door. Does that make sense to you, when he went into spirit? Does the nearly pass in 2001? Was it 2002? Was there?
No, 2000.
2000. So these are the years that he shows me. But he was knocking on the door, 1999. In other words, his spirit was getting him ready. And in the year 2000, I saw the year 2000. I saw the 20. So I knew it was just somewhere into the millennium when he'd actually passed into these spirit worlds. He's just taking me back in time. But he's been with you all these years. I mean, it's nearly 20 years, isn't it? Now it's getting on. 16 years, nearly 20 years. It's nearly 20 years. It's been a long time. But I know he's not forgotten you. He'll be waiting for you, and obviously I know he'll be overjoyed when you do. You'll always be his love. You understand? You'll always be his love.
I hope so.
And there'll be no other woman. He's not forgotten you. He's just waiting for you. You know, in the spirit world, they often say, "I wish you'd hurry up and die," and people think, "What a terrible thing to say." But you don't die. You go into higher life, and when you're in the spirit world, you're in a solid world. It's a real world. It's all quantum science. I mean, put religion to one side. I mean, I'm a spiritualist, and I've in the 1970s I was around many of the old mediums, spiritualist mediums. They were born 1880, same year as my grandmother, 1885, and they were dying in 1960 and 1970, 1980. But they worked through all the great wars, and they had phenomenal powers. They used to go into trance, deep trance, and spirits used to wake up with the spirits talking through them, although they were still unconscious. They still had their eyes closed. And I saw this many times. I saw ectoplasm, where they had ectoplasm used to come out of their nose and their ears, and spirits used to materialise in the seances. So you could see them materialise in the seances, and you could hear them talk through the ectoplasm. It was amazing. What I've seen, I've been so lucky to see all this. But the spirits did talk about their world, and they did say that their world is an atomic duplication to our world. So it's a mirror image, really. And as the Bible says, Earth is a pale reflection of heaven, and it's atomic. Everything is to do with electrons. Like we have electrons in our body, we have electrons in the table, floor, the ceiling, the walls. Everything has electrons, but we can't walk through a wall because the quantum space between the electrons in our body and the wall is all sharing the same speed of light, which is sunlight. So it's the light which keeps the electrons moving in their quantum reality, and that's why we're solid. Albert Einstein believed in the spirit world. He called it transubstantiation, for want of a fancy word. He says that when you go into the spirit world, your mind, which is your consciousness, goes into your spirit body. But then all the physics of the spirit world is governed by a different speed of light. So in the spirit world, there's trees, there's rivers, there's lakes, people live in houses, there's gardens, there's animals. It's an atomic duplication to our world in every shape and form. But your husband, he can't walk through a tree in the spirit world or a house, because that tree has the same atomic vibration as the atom, the same atomic vibration as the atoms in his body. And it's like if you see water, if you boil water, it turns into steam. But the steam has come from the water, so it's just a faster speed of atoms. But if you're in a cloud of steam, each molecule in that cloud of steam is solid to the molecule next door to each other, isn't it? So it's the juxtaposition of the, so when you're in that cloud of steam, imagine that when you go into the spirit world, if it's a faster molecular atomic rate, then you're the cloud of steam, because you've moved from water to steam. But when you're in that cloud of steam, everything around you is solid to you, because all the water molecules in the cloud of steam, they're still solid. Does that make sense to you? So the spirit world, a tree to your husband or your father, your mother or your sister-in-law, is more solid to them than a tree is to us. But of course they can walk through our trees and they can walk through our walls, because the atoms in their body are moving so quick. Does that make sense? So our world is like a world of gas or smoke. And when they come to us, they can see the colours of our aura. They can hear us very clearly. And he takes his watch off as well. You have his watch. Is there a watch? Does he give it to the son? The son's got my watch. His grandson, that's right. His son or grandson. Is it James who's got the... There's another one, isn't there? Is it Michael? I was going to say Michael has got the watch. So he knows the son or the grandson has the watch. That's what he's saying. So he knows about the grandson. Michael has the watch. And he's just remarking because he knows about the watch. He knows about a lot of things, but he just got that across to my mind. And there's a lot of love for the grandson, Michael, but he knows that the grandson has the watch. and that's his pop, his energy. He was a strong man as well. You understand your husband? He was a strong man. I think strong in the shoulders, strong in the arms. He was a strapping man when you met him. You understand? He was quite a strong. He's got very strong shoulders and very fit. And in the spirit world, they can, if they want to go back to when they're in their 20s or 30s, they can show themselves to be that age, because the spirit body is an electronic, but you can mould it with your thoughts. So everything is created by thought in the spirit world. There's also somebody connected called William, or Bill. Is there an uncle? There's somebody called William that or Wilfred or something. Wilfred. Who's the Bill? Was there a friend or somebody by William or Bill? Is somebody? I think there's somebody called William that I feel going back. There might have been as E-N. It could be Ken as well. Brother-in-law called Ken. Does Ken link into your husband at all?
I mean that he married my sister.
Married your sister, yeah, because I know he talks about Ken. Ken's still here.
Yes.
Ken's still alive. I know he sends his love to Ken, but there's somewhere could be on that side of the family. William could be on Ken, or Bill could be on Ken's side, but it doesn't matter. But I know Bill's in spirit, but Ken's down here. But he just does send his love to Ken, and I know that he and there's James as well that he talks about. James is the grandson. It's James in the spirit world as well. Do you know James up? I think there could be a James up there as well. It could be on the side of the family, but I know he's very close to these grandsons. I know he's guiding the grandsons, and he comes around the grandsons. And there's the initial S as well for somebody that he pops up on top of your head. Is it Susan? Somebody the initial S. Stephen, is it?
No.
It's a lady I'm feeling, but it's got the initial S, and her name begins with the initial S, and it's a lady.
Shelley.
Your daughter Shelley, that's what it is, yeah. I couldn't quite see it, but I know he's getting his energies across. Well, it's his daughter as well, that he puts across the initial S, because I know I could see the initial S on top, and I know he's sending his love to Shelley, his daughter. It's the mother of the grandsons. Because it's the mother of James and the mother of Michael. That's what he's trying to tell me. So I know he sends a love to his daughter with initial S. But he's very, very close, and he just I just see lots of crosses, lots of kiss. Thank you, everything that you've done, and just everything. You'll be waiting for you at the end of your life. You'll be the first one in the tunnel of white light. But he just wanted you to let you know where he is. And he's growing the rose. There's flowers he's growing. The roses. Understand? There's flowers that he grows in his garden, in the spirit world. So he has prepared like a little house, whatever, where you will see this house when you pass over. And there will be lots of flowers or trees. It's very, very pleasant. There's a dog that's barking as well, because I can hear a dog. And I do feel this dog, he's with the dog. The dog that's passed over. It's very, very dear. I feel it's a boy dog. Is it a male dog? It's a female. Is it that's passed? I don't always see, but I see that there's a dog. Possibly it wasn't a cattle dog, was it? Or you've had dogs, a few dogs, but I see one dog. It's either brown. It's a brown-coloured dog that I see. Its fur is brown that I see. And you've had, but I don't know, I see this dog, and then there's white dogs, there's poodle dogs as well. You've had poodles, because I know the white dog is a poodle dog, and I know this poodle dog is with him. Alright, he's just showing me that. So the dog's solid to him, because when you pass over, your world, the spirit will be solid to you. Does that make sense to you, or what I'm trying to explain? It's like they always want us to know where they are. It's an abstract concept, you die, or what happens to you. You just...
Dogs' souls go too.
Absolutely. And not only do they go, but because the atoms in the dog's body shares the same speed of light as the atoms in husband's body, then you pick up the dog in the spirit world. You feel the dog's breath. The dog is solid to you in the spirit world. The spirit world is a solid world when you're over there. It's just another dimension, like I've tried to explain with the quantum science and everything. And when the spirits talk through ectoplasm, they talked all about their life and in the ectoplasm in the seances. The 1970s, they used to come and talk where they live, what they were doing. But the little memories, everything, they're just trying to prove it's them, something very specific, like he's watched to his grandson, little things they say, it's just little things that they project their thoughts. They don't talk in the spirit world, they telepathize, so they just project their thoughts. You don't need to talk, I can just look at you and I can project my thoughts to you and you know what I'm thinking. So, and that's how they work with a medium. He projects his thoughts. Your husband's here and he's projecting his thoughts into my mind, and it's whatever I can catch at any one time. I've probably picked up about 1% of what he's been trying to tell me, but hey, 1% is something. And it proves, hopefully, that he's not dead. He's there with you in the spirit world, as with your sister-in-law, your mother, your father. And there's something called Alma as well. Alma. I understand your sister-in-law. I felt connected. Is it Alma?
Oh, she had an auntie.
Auntie Alma, because I know she's with Alma in the spirit world, who is a favourite. She has a lot of love, because I know she talks about being with Alma in the spirit world. Does that make sense to you? Because I do know she's close.
Well, she had an
Auntie Alma, I know she's very close. Close, yeah. She talks about being with Auntie Alma. There's a lot of closeness here, and a lot of love that comes. But she just wants to say, I do feel she wants to send her love to her husband, isn't it? Is it her husband sat out there? Because she's sending her love to her husband, and your husband is sending his love to this man outside.
Yes, well, it's his brother.
Yeah, that's what they're
and
saying.
They were
very, very close. I don't like to use the word in-law. I'd rather just say brother.
Yes.
You understand? What's an in-law? It's a spiritual relationship. It's a sister-in-law. It's a sister. There's that closeness, because I do know there's so much fondness for this man out there.
Yes.
And playing cards as well. There's memories playing cards. You understand? They used to chuck the cards down on the table, as he just showed me a deck of cards. Does that make sense to you? Somebody playing cards, or
Maybe when
they were younger, there's somebody playing cards, but he knows, it's just amazing that he could come forward today and bring back all those memories. And there's the August birthday as well. It's the month of August, not August, July. It's the July time. There's something in the July. He seems to bring the June or the July. There's something just before August.
Well, our son was born in July.
In July, so he does Michael. No, James, isn't it? There's another son. The grandsons. You have a son, because I do know he talks about this son with the month of July. I've not been able to get his name, but I do know he gets across by giving me his birth month. That's how he presents the information. If I can't get the name, I can't receive it. My subconscious can't process it. So if I don't get it, he'll show me a month that gets across the love, because he doesn't want to miss out this connection with his son. He's one son, a grandson, who's very good with his hands as well. He's tradie. You understand? He works as a tradie, because I see a utility vehicle. You understand? He has a ute, a utility vehicle. Does that make sense to you? Because he drives this ute, and I do feel he's very, very close to this. I just love my children. I love my grandchildren. That was the man he was. I understand. He was I know. That's the man. That's why he's constantly talking about sons and grandsons. And he's constantly talking about these people. Because my feeling, he loves you as well, but the feelings, I know that was his whole life, was very much. And he had a faith as well. He had a faith. There's nobody in Catholicism, is the Catholic? No, that's fine. It could be just a sense of faith that they show me. He had that strong faith, but he's happy in higher life. He's in higher life. Spirit world is a higher world, a bright and a beautiful world. And I do know but he was a handsome man as well. He's got hair. He's got more hair. Is he losing? He had thick hair, didn't he? But he lost his hair, because he's got more hair now. He's balding, because I can see him going like that with a comb or something, and there wasn't much hair. But I feel in the spirit world he might be younger. He might have more hair.
He's having chemo, of course.
Chemo. He lost his hair. That's what he's trying to
complete.
But he did got very. But I feel he wants to let me know he's got his hair. His hair's back. That's what he shows me. His hair's back, and he takes his glasses off as well, because I don't need these anymore. I understand there's some connection to glasses.
Mm.
He takes them off.
Mm.
And he used to read them for readings. It was his reading glasses.
Yes.
Yeah, because his eyes, he was okay normally, is that correct?
No,
He had
well,
glasses.
He didn't have glasses until,
But he-
say,
But he,
his
yeah, well
late
that's
40s,
40s, because I know he takes them off.
Mm.
And he says, I don't need these glasses anymore, because I just do feel his eyes are very bright.
Mm.
He's blue,
Yeah.
very blue eyes, because I saw him take the glasses off and I saw his eyes. That's beautiful, sparkling blue eyes.
Yes.
Sparkling blue eyes. I just saw them as he took his glasses off and says, well, I don't need the glasses. The hair's back. The teeth are fixed because there were problems with the teeth as well. And you've been to the dentist, have you? Has there been some
Yes,
dental work?
yes.
Because he says, we'll fix your teeth. But I know you've had some work done, haven't you, on the
Yes.
teeth? And it has been a bugbear, your teeth, because he knows that over the years it's something with the teeth. It's been expensive, or you've had to have lots of work done on the teeth. But he says, we'll get you over here, you'll have all your own teeth. And he's a bit of a joker, your husband. He had a bit of a, sense of humour.
Yes,
That was his personality. He's very quiet at the beginning, but hey, he's been gone a long time, so
Yes.
sometimes it's hard to. It's a miracle. If anybody's been gone over 10 years, it's very hard to get a communication because their mind is. They lose track a lot of what's on the earth because they go into they're in another world, aren't they? Another dimension. The spirit world is nothing to do with our world. It's a different dimension, and they're so engrossed in. But I just do feel he's. He's out of the pool, walking the pool with the dog, as you know, he's number 90. It's amazing he could get the street address out. So it's just the connection of how close he's been with you. And you've moved as well. As if there's been a move. You're still at the same address.
No, it's still
Well, there
there.
you go. Yeah, well, you should say it's amazing. It is, isn't it? Because he's tried that hard to, obviously, to focus his
Yes.
focus
No,
his
I'm
mind.
Still in the same house.
So they say, well, that's good. You won't
Since
move.
1960.
Yeah, no, well, that's where all the memories are. You won't move, he sees everything. There's a place for everything on his place. You've got your mobility, and I do feel you'll live a good life, but when you die, you'll just close your eyes, go to sleep. Be nice, won't it? Yeah, it's okay. But you just keep on with the library, keep on with the learning, because I feel that's good. You like to keep yourself busy, and that's a feeling. He's just behind you, and he shows me the handkerchief as well. So okay, some handkerchiefs as well. He used to just dab his head or something with a hanky. There's some handkerchiefs. If not, there must be handkerchiefs that you must have from somebody. Could be a lady's handkerchief, but I see a handkerchief behind you, and it could be just the sign of dabbing the tears. I just see he's holding up a handkerchief. So whether or not he had handkerchiefs, but he could be just dabbing your tears. It's the tears of loss, the tears of grief, or just sometimes they just show me that it's a sign. Or he could be just dabbing his tears that he misses you, and obviously, he still misses you, and that's all that love that comes forward. Absolutely, all that love that comes forward. It's so close, so close, and. The feeling it's just there. It's slowly slipping away as my psychic power leaves me. But please do take his love, and just know that that love, it never dies. It never ever dies. And there's Paul as well, called Paul or Peter. Paul, he gives me the name Paul. There's a nephew, Paul. He's sending his love to Paul. It's Paul a grandson? No, that's a nephew. A nephew, isn't it, Paul? Because I know he sends his love to Paul as well, or Paul's father or mother or somebody who's around Paul. Has Paul lost one of his parents as well? Because I know he's with one of Paul's parents. That's what he's trying to tell me. His father. You understand? Paul's dad. He's with Paul's dad. He knows Paul's dad's dead. And I say dead in the spirit world. No such thing as dead. You understand? But he knows he's up there, Paul's father, because I know he just gave me the feeling that he died quickly as well. Is it Paul's father or something? He was sick before he passed over. Similar to your husband. Or something, or some infirmity, or something. It was a wasting or something. Whatever it was, there was some degeneration, or something of the body, the mind, something degenerated. He might have had difficulties walking. You understand? Because I do feel like things would have. But I know he's. And it sounds like Henry as well. Henry or Harry. There's something with a H name as well. Paul Henry or Harry. But he might be coming in for the next person, so I've got to well, we've gone over time, but he's such a beautiful man. So I'll leave that with you. Okay. So thank you very, very much. Thank you for your patience and being patient with me. Being patient, allowing it to come in, because I always say it's a miracle. You know, every time I get a communication, I don't know how it's done, but but it.